Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles Sebastian. Want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a hell of a show for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel, and be sure to hit all notifications to be notified the second we drop our content so you don't miss anything. Let me get into this topic here. If I'm going to be honest with you, this is a topic that is beginning to irritate me on a number of levels, but I want to get into it here today. So what happened this morning, I was combing through the internet and I came across a clip from a nightcap that was published yesterday. And as you guys know, Shannon Sharpe and Gilbert usually do these kind of recaps on games. And I saw the title of the thumbnail and it said, Gilbert Arenas tells Shannon Sharpe that Nikola Jokic is the worst MVP in the last 40 years. So I decided to click on the clip to hear what was being said. Now, here's what's interesting and what happened to my surprise. What happened to my surprise was that Shannon Sharpe was basically tearing apart this ridiculous notion that people like Gilbert Arenas and others were trying to promote, which was, bro, like, enough with the nonsense. Like, enough with he came in pushing back. And I like the fact that he pushed back on him, but I really want to focus in on what Gil said. Gilbert Arenas essentially tried to make an argument for why he believes that Nikola Jokic is the worst MVP in the last 40 years of basketball. So for those of you who didn't hear what he had to say, take a listen to what he had to say here, and then we're going to come back.
Not going to age well. I had somebody from another team who was saying you can't, in a historical context, you cannot give this guy 3 MVPs in 4 seasons. Basically, his take was like, that's not going to age well. But Jokic's been dominant. Gil, 26.5 points, 12.3 rebounds, 9 assists, 1.3 steals in 73 games. He's shooting 58% from the floor, 34% from deep. If he brings home his third MVP, he brings home his third MVP. Just because you guys effed it up and wouldn't give it to guys that Jordan probably should have 7 or 8. LeBron should probably have 6 or 7. Other guys, that ain't their fault. But here's the problem that you had, Gil. Until 1981, players voted for the MVP. Let's just think it for a second. People at home. 1 year, Wilt Chamberlain averaged 44 points and 27 rebounds, and he finished 8th in the MVP voting. I want you to hear me again. He averaged 44 and 27 and finished 8th in the MVP voting. The year that he averaged 50 and 25, he did not win the MVP. So you have players like, if I don't like you, I ain't voting for you. So you see what happened prior to the 80s? Players voted for the MVPs. So now you got the writers, and so maybe Wilt should have. The man had 500. What do you have? I think he had 551 consecutive double-doubles.
Yeah.
We're applauding Sabonis for having 54. The man went damn near 5-6 years and had double-doubles.
Yep.
He never finished the season with less than 18 rebounds in a season. He averaged 23 rebounds for a season for a career. So he probably should have more. And then you wouldn't be upset that Jokic has the potential to win 3 and 4 years if they had done it right. So you wouldn't be mad because Jordan would have 7, and you say, well, damn, if he get 3, he only 2 behind Jordan, and he's 28. That means he's only 1 behind LeBron. He's only 28. He's only this, and that's not his fault. That's not his fault that y'all messed it up.
I got to use your language, that 1964 language. Those mofo jive turkeys, like you're right. They screwed it up, and you can't rewind it back. Like, no. I understand both sides. one side, the fact that they're having the discussion that they can't give it to him, that is disturbing, which means you've been doing this the whole time.
Thank you. Thank you.
You've been penalizing people the whole time to protect who?
Historical.
And what, right? Who have you been protecting and what have you been protecting? Because you've been doing it. We know Jordan should have 7. So he should have 3 in a row. Were you protecting Bird's 3 in a row by not giving to Michael Jordan, right?
Or LeBron.
LeBron should have had some. Shaquille should have had some.
Yes.
Kobe has one. Now I do understand when they say this about Jokic. Jokic is probably statistically, when it comes to overall game, the worst MVP winner.
Did this man just really say that? Did he just really say that?
Why you say that?
When you're talking about MVP, the guys outside of first and second place, their teams was first and second place. The people who won the MVP, their teams was first and second. When Jordan won it, his team record, they were 7th in the NBA. That year, he averaged 35, 6, 5, 3 steals. All-Star MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, scoring title, steals leader. That was the MVP. Historic year. Makes sense, right? That makes sense. When Westbrook won it, his team had the 10th best record. Triple-double.
First time since Oscar Robertson in 6.
He did something amazing. His team was 10th, but he did something that wasn't done since Oscar Robertson. When Jokic in 2021, Jokic's team was 5th. He averaged 26, 8, and 10. What was the historic part of that? There was no historic. Oh, the big man almost had a triple-double. Let's give it to him. That's what the narrative was. A big man almost won the triple-double, and they gave it to him when his team record was like that. His second MVP, his team was tied in 10th place. 10th best record in the NBA, 27, 8, and 13. What was historic about it? The 2 people before him had an amazing season. When you're talking about historic, Magic, team's first place, second place, first place. Jordan 7th, 2nd, 1-1. Bird 1-1. His team was first place every time he won it. LeBron first, 4th, first. Jokic 5th and 10th.
So you heard what Gilbert Arenas and Shannon Sharpe had to say in that soundbite. If you pay close attention, Shannon said something. He was talking about when players used to vote. And he basically brought up the point of Wilt Chamberlain and these guys not getting any MVP votes. And he said something quite interesting, which was the following. He said, if I don't like you, I'm not voting for you. And if you pay close attention, Gilbert concurred with him. That is a very important moment of their conversation, which means what? It means that if I have any personal feelings that I'm holding against you, whether or not you're qualified for the MVP, I'm not going to vote for you. Everything that Gilbert Arenas was talking about was based on his personal feelings about Nikola Jokic and foreign players. That's pretty much what all of this is about, number one. Number two, what does this have to do about protecting Nikola Jokic and all that? The fact of the matter is this. Nikola Jokic is a bad boy. You see, what is happening in the NBA, I personally believe, is a byproduct of, and I said it before and I'm going to say it again, of American-born players not taking the game seriously. That is essentially what is a byproduct of. American-born players, this is what's happened. You had generations before them that fought to keep the league alive. Then you had those that saved the league. And then you have those that pushed the league into a totally different stratosphere. Those are the MJs of the world. And then you had the era where you had the Kobes, the Vince Carters, the Allen Iversons, the Shaq. Those guys were able to maintain it. But the current state of affairs right now in the NBA are the following. You have guys that feel this sense of entitlement to the sport. They feel like it is our right to be in the NBA versus our privilege. And whenever you have an amalgamation of players within the league that share this sentiment, you begin to lose the thing that kept the league vibrant and kept it strong. And what ends up happening is you open up the doors for other people that view it as an opportunity to take advantage of it while you're sitting there just kind of going through the motions. If you look at the way the thing has been trending, it is quite obvious that a few things are happening. Number one, the NBA wants to expand the game because they're beginning to reach a limit in terms of interest in the United States. So they want to reach other customers around the world, which is fine. Then you have them saying we want to have an international presence within the NBA. And what's happening? As a result, you're starting to see the Luka Doncic's of the world. You're starting to see the Giannis Antetokounmpos of the world. You're seeing the Nikola Jokic's of the world. And now you're beginning to see the Victor Wembanyama. And I think that what is happening is players like Gilbert Arenas and others are threatened. I think all of this has everything to do with fear. That's all it is. It's fear. They are afraid of what is going to happen. Right now, I think the NBA is 1/3 of the NBA is foreign, is comprised of foreign players. 1/3. If you look at the top 5 players in the NBA right now, all of them are foreign players, or the vast majority of them. Let's go through the list. Nikola Jokic is the best player in the world. Then you have Giannis, who's considered the second best player in the world. Then you have the MVP of the league, which is Joel Embiid. He's in the top 5. And then you have Luka Doncic, who's also in the top 5. Who's left? Jason Tatum, Anthony Edwards, whoever you want to put, like maybe Jason Tatum. So 4 of the 5 best players are all foreign players. And then you have other players, or you could say SGA, who's Canadian. Some people are talking about Joel Embiid is now all of a sudden Joel Embiid is American. Now all of a sudden Joel Embiid, who's from Cameroon, who's playing in the United States all these years on a work visa, now all of us on a special workers visa, now all of a sudden he's American because we want to count him. All right. They know this. That's the first thing. The second thing is Gilbert is saying this for shock value. It's quite obvious. You say he's the worst MVP in the last 40 years. What's going to happen is what just happened. People like myself are going to tune in to hear, hey, why is this guy saying that? Right? And they're going to react to it. Listen, if you don't like the guy, if you don't feel like he's good enough, then stop him. I heard him say that Euro players play no defense. Well, apparently neither do the Americans because they're busting their asses. So, okay, so the Euros play no, the European play, not even European. Foreign players don't play defense. So why don't y'all stop them? By you saying foreign players don't play defense, you're basically saying that what American players do, right? So stop them. Stop them. If you don't like them, stop them. You can't stop them. You can't. You want to talk about American players play defense? Did you watch the last 2 All-Star games? Gilbert Arenas made up the point himself. The All-Star game is mostly dominated by American players. Did you see any defense anywhere? I didn't see it. Did you see it? Almost 200 points in the last game. Where was the defense? Listen, this is coming from a place of fear, but it doesn't really matter. Nikola Jokic, I believe, has 2 regular season MVPs. He's about to win his 3rd one. I think Nikola Jokic is going to end up with about 5 MVPs. And then I think from that point forward, you're either going to have Luka, SGA, or Victor Wembanyama. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. All of the players that have won MVPs, I think the last 7 are all foreign players. Let's go through the list. Giannis won 2. Nikola Jokic won 2. Joel Embiid won 1. That's 5. 5 of the last 6 are foreign players. If anybody wins it this year, it's going to be another foreign player. So 6 out of the last 7. Do you not see where this thing is trending? It's a wrap. It's a wrap. All of this talking and blah, it don't matter. It's a wrap. It's over. In the next 5 years, it's over. Victor's coming next. And they already talking about he may end up being the best player ever. It's over. And you have American players have themselves to blame. Not the NBA, their damn selves. These are my thoughts.